Okay, put my glasses on to see where we are.
We'd be at, what time is it? 6 p.m.
Okay, gonna call the order, please. Take roll call.
Wayne Clark,
Yes.
Alderperson Keene,
Here.
Alderman Weigel,
Here.
Mike Suter,
President.
Richard Badger,
Present.
Tom Medley. We have a quorum. Oh, Jerry Motter. Always. Thank you.
Okay. First thing on the M is approve the minutes of the previous meeting. Is there any corrections or agendas for the agenda? Move approval.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Minutes stand approved. First thing here, public matter for discussion. The first thing here, we're gonna have this public hearing for the sale of the land located at 1405 South 92nd Street, tax deed number 45005020001 in the city of West Dallas. Now read the procedure for the public hearing. We already took roll call. We can skip that. I, Joe Meyer, Chairman of the Community Development Authority. Notice of the hearing will now be read. The Executive Director of the Community Development Authority has filed with the authorities a notice of the hearing. The affidavits of publication will be filed as soon as received from the official newspaper as required by section 66.1333 Wisconsin statutes, which the documents will be part of the recordings of this procedure in nation. Purpose of this hearing to afford a full opportunity to all interested parties to express their views and propose consideration for the sale of the public land located at 1405 South 92nd Street, tax key number 45005020000 in the city of West Dallas. Following the closing of this hearing, the authority will consider a vote on a resolution authorizing the sale of the land of the property located at 1405 South 92nd Street, tax key number 45005020000 in the city of West Dallas. If adopted, the resolution will be submitted to the Common Council of the city of West Dallas. When West Dallas approves as provided in section 66.1333 of Wisconsin statutes. Statements may be interested parties. This is what it said. I will now ask Patrick Slosh, Executive Director of the Community Development, for this designation staff to make a brief presentation with respect to the proposed before the authority. Patrick, you have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, tonight we're fulfilling a statutory obligation. We are still in the negotiation process and the development agreement all formalized. We have to wait for Planning Commission to approve the designs and final bids for the construction and financing to come together. But there's a statutory obligation that we have a public hearing on the sale of land. We are talking about the former St. Al site on 92nd and Greenfield, just over around 3 acres of land. It consists of the former St. Aloysius Church, the rectory and the school, and the associated playground and parking lot. You can see the image of that piece of land here. So it's between 93rd and 92nd Street, just south of Greenfield Avenue. We are again having the public hearing tonight, and then on tonight's agenda we also have a raise agreement with F Street on the demolition of the properties to facilitate development. We currently have the property under a land contract with F Street. Nick Young is here representing F Street, and they are going through the due diligence right now of getting the site ready for development. And as part of this, the city has agreed to lend up to $1 million for the demolition. And that demolition is because the property is listed as a nuisance. People have broken in, vandalized the school. It's really in poor shape. I know all the Kristen Keene has been through the facility, saw the extent of damage. So tonight, again, it's simply the sale of public land. We're accommodating a future development of 50 to 52 garden-style apartments and a 100-unit apartment building, a mid-rise, which is usually 4 stories above parking. The estimated cost of development is estimated around $40 million total between the two phases. Phase 1 would be the garden-style apartments, And phase 2 would be the mid-rise apartment building starting shortly after the garden style apartments. Here are examples of the type of development, and we'll show you more of this in closed session. And again, examples of the mid-rise type of development. That's, I think, we don't skip all of that. Any questions about the public sale of land? I don't, the sale price right now, they bought the property for $860,000, so there's a loan for that gets paid at point of construction financing. So we'll get repaid the $860,000 from the land purchase price, and then of course the demolition loan would be satisfied at that point as well.
Here, go ahead, Alderman Riddle.
Patrick, that little chunk of property that's where that hall is, that, who owns that's staying?
Okay, so it's Gonzaga or Hall.
Yeah.
It's owned by a group called Holy, and it's a low-income senior housing. It stays on the site, and again, it's a private owner. There are some cross easements, I believe, on there in terms of access to the rear portion of that building. And F Street's been working with that property owner and working through that part of their due diligence right now.
So there's no parking demand on that building, in that building?
I don't know how many of their tenants drive. I don't know, the amount of parking, but one of the things that I believe F Street has discussed is maybe a cross shared parking of some sort.
Go ahead, Steve.
They do have their own underground parking that will stay.
Okay.
I don't know how many spots it is. A few times I've cut across to go to Crawdaddy's, it's never full. So I don't know if there'd be a need for shared parking, obviously. Have to work it out with the owner, but I don't think it'll be a problem.
And if I may, Mr. Chair, the nature of the low-income housing there, that's some sort of tax credit deal, and that goes on.
There was some HUD financing that was involved to provide very low income type of housing.
And that's not.
Mission driven.
That's usually like 20 years or something?
Correct. But I don't know the whole financial structure, how they put their financing together, so I can't really comment on that.
Any other question? Wait, which paragraph here? Hold on 1 second, please. I make this official. Okay? I'll let you talk in a minute. Okay. Alderman. Okay. If any interested parties in attendance may now express their views for proposed consideration for the sale of the public land for the property located at 1405 South 92nd Street, tax key number 450050200 in the city of West Dallas. Please raise your hand to be recognized. Upon being recognized, state your name, your address, and interest in the proposal, that you may proceed with your statement. If you appear on behalf of an interested party, please state the name of the party you represent. Does anyone wish to be recognized at this time?
I forgot what I was going to say. No, Dan Rowe, Alderman. Which building were you talking about, Mark?
They're not taking the whole.
It's bringing the
Okay, which one?
The one that
This one.
Oh, okay, I
sorry about that.
waited for that. Okay.
90 seconds.
Well, Nick,
Go ahead, sir.
Nick Young, F Street, just, happy to answer more questions than was talked before, so if there's anything else, just happy to answer.
Right? No other questions? There being no interested party to address the authority, I declare this closed and will now proceed with the next order of business.
And a resolution. There, but that's it.
Item 2, public hearing to consider the sale of the public land located at 1405 South 92nd Street, tax key number 450050200 in the city of West Dallas. Patrick,
That's what we just did too, right?
I know. Do you want to hold this one now? or-
Yes.
Okay, we'll go to item number 3 then. Resolution consider establishing the
Thank you.
2025 payment standards for the Housing Choice Voucher Program. Patrick?
Mr. Chair, the Section 8 Rent Assistance Program, each year has to adopt a fair market rent standard. So HUD posts those fair market rents. You can see here 2024 fair market rent and the 2025 fair market rents that you see here. 0 being a studio or, apartment 1, 2, 3 bedroom size. And and then we can go to 110% of that fair market rental rate. So this is the amount that is paid as a voucher to someone who's on the Section 8. That's not paid in terms of, this is the max rent that somebody could have under the Section 8 rent assistance program. So we do 110% in order to be competitive against other areas and be able to then assist with the rent for a Section 8 participant. We have 625 vouchers. Those vouchers are used throughout our city, and there's I think it's 150 of those are for homeless veterans. Might be 125. I'm just going by my memory. My memory might be failing me at the moment. So we average around 528 people on the program. And that's mainly because our total budget authority of money that we can pay for rent is that's the most that we can support at the time. So, but we annually usually approve 110% for the housing voucher program. We went to 120% during COVID. You might remember that. There was a period where we were allowed to go higher because the rents were going up so quick. So now we've brought down to 110% of the fair market standard.
Go ahead, Mr. Clark.
Patrick, is there a waiting list?
There's always a waiting list. We have over 1,500 some people on the waiting list for voucher. Every 3 years we update that waiting list. There's generally a large need for Section 8 rent assistance vouchers. These vouchers are able to use at any property. They're portable. So people can live here for a year and then actually say, I'm going to move to the city of Milwaukee. And then that either a voucher can stay in our program or it gets absorbed into the other housing authority. But I don't want to get into all those logistics, but that's typically how that's managed. And then we can also do project-based vouchers, which is what we did at Beloit Road Senior Housing. We have 100 vouchers in that property. And with those, you can see the payment standard for a 1-bedroom in terms of rent there. But then there's also a utility allowance that factors into that as well. Did that answer your question?
Go ahead, Mouse. Go ahead.
Thank you. I do have a question. What's the criteria for approval for these vouchers?
For us to receive them or for the participant to get a voucher?
Yeah, for the
participant, they have to. So the vouchers, our staff approves it, but it has to go through a background check. They also have to provide copies of payment standard, like any income statements, bank statements, pay stubs, etc. And then and then we do the background check to make certain that they don't have any violations per HUD standards. So our staff will make sure that once they come off the waiting list, meet all the requirements to be able to get the voucher.
It would be your team that would
Yes.
approve the voucher.
Yes,
And there's a maximum income they can demonstrate.
correct. If it's all qualified by income, the very premise of the program. It's down to the amount of money in your wallet. What's in your wallet? Just
Resolution.
Then move for approval.
Second.
And second, we don't need a roll call vote for that, do we?
Yes, we do.
Okay. I asked you.
Yep.
Take roll call, please.
Wayne Clark,
Yes.
Alderperson Keene,
Aye.
Alderman Weigel,
Aye.
Mike Suter,
Yes.
Richard Badger,
Aye.
Tom Medley.
You
You can-
abstain? You abstain?
Okay,
Okay.
Yes. Do that.
Yes.
and Jerry Motter,
Yes.
resolution passes.
Okay. We go to item number 4, discussion regarding contract with Tracy Cross Associates Incorporated in the amount of $19,875 for residential marketing study on the West Dallas housing market. Patrick?
I'm gonna turn this one over to my colleague Sean Miller.
Oh,
Yep. Yeah. Thank you, Patrick. So this is, we had previously done a residential market analysis through the services of Tracy Cross and Associates in 2021. As part of, at that time, we were seeing some development pressure. We've seen the West development come online across the street from the farmers market, and then their phase 2 Sona Lofts, Ogden's Element 84 over on 83rd and Greenfield. So there's a few other developments, and we're starting. So now here we are, 4 or 5 years later, starting to see additional development pressure. We have some buildings under construction. We have one that's about to start going online for rent. They've begun renting, and people will start moving in here in the next month or two. And at the Rev, which
July
is
15th.
actually ahead of schedule by over a month, which is great. And we have another one under construction, which is about another 250 units over on 70th and Greenfield. And now we're seeing we have, some additional potential redevelopment sites in the area and some big visions. Some high density. We're seeing some townhomes built. Some of the missing middle housing where, a lot of communities have, built out communities have these single family homes, then you have these larger multifamily, but you have nothing in between. And so, one of the things the previous market study encouraged was adding townhomes as an option, which we don't have a lot of. And so we are starting to see that being added to the city, and with this additional development pressure, we want to ensure that we are hitting the mark with what is, going to be able to be absorbed in the area. And that's the biggest thing that the residential market study helps guide. And it also helps guide, the rent trends in the area, both nationally and then in the region and within our specific market. Just helps us guide our CDA and council in making decisions as developments come to us.
So we do have this item on council agenda tonight for approval because it was used some city dollars that we have where the money was awarded to us. So we would use some EPA money. We'd also use maybe some TIP dollars or some economic development fire dollars with that agreement with the city. So we have that on tonight's council agenda. The reason we bring it up here, when we go into closed session, you can see why we need to update it. And there's some value to doing it now as we do some long-term planning.
Patrick, do you want to, you got from
Item 5, I would hold until after closed
You
session.
got 7 and 8,
6 in closed session,
7 and 8,
7 is in closed session, and 8 is in closed session.
all right.
And then it would be number 9 through, that would be A through M. If there's any comments or questions
Right
on,
away, or?
any questions or,
Yeah, consideration relative to the report on redevelopment initiatives for number 9. Are there any questions from the board?
I know we have council tonight, so we should do the closed session.
All right. Okay. For agenda items 5 to 8, the committee continued in closed session pertinent to the provision section 19.85/1/E state statute for the purpose of delivering, investing in public funds whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. This committee may convene in open sessions after completion of the closed session to consider the balance of its agenda. Can I have a motion to go into closed session? Take roll call, please, Sean.
Jerry Matter,
Here.
Wayne Clark,
Yes.
Dana Keen, Marty Weigel, Mike Suter,
Yeah.
Richard Badger, Thomas Medley.
Now in closed session. You,
Yeah, I got it.
okay, thank you.
I got it.
Thanks. Just so you know, elected officials and key city staff will allow this to be a conversation, discussion also, so.
And usually when we go into closed sessions, items that are confidential in nature and negotiation strategies or, discussions with a developer in private that are negotiation or updates that will impact, sale of land and things like that, so.
So now we have to go back to item number 5.
1 second,
Hang on, Jerry.
you gotta,
Just 1 second.
then we'll get you out of your common council.
Yeah.
Votes.
Just take a sec. Okay.
Now we go back to item number 5.
That's correct.
I'll read it again. Resolution authorizing the sale of the land for the property located at 1405 South 92nd Street, tax key number 450050200 to F Street 92 LLC.
Second.
Is moved and approved the second? Does it have to be a vote?
Yep.
Okay.
Wayne Clark,
Yes.
Alderperson Key. Alderperson Weigel.
Aye.
Mike Suter.
Yeah.
Richard Badger. Tom Medley.
Dean?
Yep.
Yes.
Passes.
Item 6, resolution to approve the agreement to raise and remove structures between the Community Development Authority of the City of West Dallas and F Street 92 LLC for the property located at 1405 South 92nd Street for, got that. The motion for approval in a second. Any further discussion?
Wayne Clark.
Yes.
Alderperson Keen. Alderman Weigel.
Aye.
Mike Suter.
Aye.
Richard Badger. Tom Medley.
Aye.
Jerry Motter. Thank you. Motion or resolution passes. And that is it.
Move to adjourn.
Further business, all in favor of adjournment, please say aye. Meeting adjourned.
We should go road together.
Oh. I looked at that. I said, oh, so. Yeah. Well, it was time to.